Subjugates of Earth, I want to have a heart to heart. Please hear me out. I am ironically the villain in my skit comedy. I do not plan to make any empty promises. I am simply here to point out what we are collectively capable of and are choosing collectively not to do as a society and as a whole. I will be upfront about my ambitions so there is no question in your mind as to why I am doing this. I do it because in it I see my own security, abundance, and wealth as well as yours. The only thing different that I seek for myself is the glory for the history books when future generations look back and reflect on the turning point of humanity as a whole. I do not wish to use my influence to hoard all the wealth for myself, like many have chosen to do with current innovations. I simply want to be a founding father of a prosperous future by daring to dream about my prosperity as well as yours. I may never hold office, and I also may never wear a legitimate crown. And I have no desire, in spite of my skit comedy, to manufacture a title for myself and demand that history accept it. My ambition is greater. And perhaps more difficult than that. I want to live in such a way, build something so consequential, and help set in motion a future so prosperous that generations who come long after me can examine what happened here and decide for themselves what place I deserve in humanity's story. If history ever grants me greatness, I do not want it because I demanded to stand above humanity. I want to have earned it by standing for humanity. My ambition is not to proclaim myself humanity's emperor. It is to become worthy of the kind of place in humanity's history that no crown could ever bestow. Now that we have my ego's ambitions, personal glory, and flaws out of the way, let's proceed. There is a question that future generations may ask about us. It will not be, did they have enough technology? They will know that we did. They will know that we could communicate across continents in an instant. They will know that machines could perform complex labor. They will also know that artificial intelligence could process knowledge at extraordinary speed. They will know that we could capture energy from sunlight, recycle water, automate manufacturing, engineer controlled environments, grow food without depending entirely upon seasons, and send machines beyond the earth itself. They will know what humanity was capable of. Their question will be much more uncomfortable. Why did suffering that technology could progressively eliminate remain a condition of status and wealth? Why did hunger exist beside agricultural abundance? Why do people lose shelter when buildings stood empty? Why did education remain inaccessible to minds capable of extraordinary things? Why did illness threaten financial ruin? Why did technological process make civilization wealthier without necessarily making survival more secure? And above all, why did humanity continue organizing itself around scarcity after it had begun acquiring the tools of abundance. That is the question before us today. Not capitalism versus socialism, not left versus right, not rich versus poor, not one class against the other. The question is far older and far larger. What is technology for? It can't be simply for just killing ourselves and each other. For thousands of years, humanity had a simple answer. Technology helped us survive. Agriculture protected us from starvation. Shelter protected us from the elements. Medicine protected us from disease. Machines multiplied human labor. Electricity conquered darkness. Transportation conquered distance, and communication conquered isolation. Every technological revolution increased what one human being could accomplish. And yet, somewhere along the way, we began confusing the tools with the purpose. Economic growth became the objective. Production became the objective. Consumption became the objective. Technology became the objective. But none of these things were ever the final destination. Humanity flourishing was the final destination. The machine matters because of what it allows a human being to do. The economy matters because of what kind of civilization it allows human beings to inhabit. Progress matters because of what kind of life becomes possible after it. And we have reached a point where progress demands a new objective. Not equality of possessions, not the abolition of wealth, not the elimination of competition, not the destruction of private enterprise. Something simultaneously simpler and more profound. Make basic survival progressively independent of personal wealth. Food, clean water, basic shelter, essential healthcare, education, baseline energy, and communication. The foundations required for a human being to remain alive, participate in civilization, and develop their abilities should increasingly become infrastructure. It does not mean money disappears. It does not mean everyone receives the same house, the same car, or the same possessions, or even the same lifestyle. It does not mean there can be no luxury. It does not mean entrepreneurs cannot become wealthy. And it does not mean someone cannot build an extraordinary company and earn an extraordinary reward. There shall be no artificial ceiling placed upon humanity's achievements, but there also should be a floor beneath humanity's existence. That distinction changes everything. A society can still reward ambition while refusing to weaponize starvation. It can celebrate wealth without making poverty lethal. It can preserve markets while deciding that certain foundations of civilization should not disappear because someone's bank balance reaches zero. Stay tuned for part 2.